I'm Paulie B. We're here in the Dragon Den, and we're going to give you a tour. We have made a lot of upgrades since our last tour. We've added, got some of our microphones hooked up. We've changed the general outline of what we have here. We're going to start over here at the control panel. We've hung some guitars on the wall. We got a Colby. I got an old Fender that I'm working on to repair. We got my pictures of Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix. This small unit here we use for playbacks on cell phones. We keep different stuff in the box. This Marshall amp here is used for the drum set. It's a digital Marshall. It runs back to the drum set, and the drum kit is in the back of the room, and we're able to play the drums through this particular head, and comes out on the cabinets. Here we have a Windows 10 computer, and we've added a light in order to have a light. We've also put in a professional condenser mic, which is hooked into the Windows 10. We're still working on software, but we want to get the podcast up and running so that we'll be able to run off of Windows 10 with the condenser mic. And we've added a camera here. This is our Panasonic. It's a very nice camera. We installed the microphone on the front of it. So we got external mics. We can install another external mic. We also have an external mic that comes with it, which is you would call an internal mic. It's on an inexpensive stand for now, but it'll work. We had to get special hookups and everything to get it to come into the 10. But download and everything seems good. But I need my engineer to take a look at that. We've added an extra keyboard to the Windows 10 so that I don't have to reach over to get to the keyboard. Both keyboards work. And then we have our trackpad in the middle. Over here we've started to hook up in the monitors, and this particular computer will turn to the side like this, and that monitor will work towards the operator while he's mixing. We have two more passive monitors that we're going to hook in to the active monitors. Here we have a Behringer. It's an interface, and it's also a control panel for mics, and we can also plug instruments into this. All of this here, we had to move the patch bay up in order to bring all of these alive out here, to bring the connections from the moto to the front so we can patch in without having to get to the back. We have power supply on the top. We have our main screen TV, which right now is hooked up to the 10, but will eventually switch over and hook up to the, we have a 32 gigabyte and 2 terabyte Apple tower underneath in the center of this computer, of this table here. It's a regular table that you would have in an office with a chair and desk on both sides, but I used an antique ice box in front. And the antique ice box acts as another table in front. We used a chair, 2 chairs. One chair over here, we put a granite slab on top to make a table. Over here we have like a pillar that we put another granite slab to match. And we put a high-tone keypad on that. And we have a wired mouse on this side. This is all wired. And over here we have wireless keyboard. We have our 1-octave keyboard. We have our wireless computer. I don't know what they call these. I guess keyboards. And the keyboard for it, we have an Apogee 1 interface. The Apogee 1 is going to have to work through the Windows. We're going to go through Pro Tools 12. We're still waiting on the Pro Tools 12 software. The MG1 is going to control everything. This is a control panel, a mini control panel. This has record and whatnot on it also. It has an equalizer on it. And this is a cinema screen. The cinema screen is hooked up to the Apple Tower, which will take the big screen and move it to the cinema screen and the Apple Tower once we install Pro Tools 12. This computer over here will run our podcast, microphone, computer, and underneath we have a Line 6 interface, and that's good for a few hookups and a podcast. We have an external microphone here that runs back to the back PA. We have a couple PA systems. We have four of them actually, four PA systems. I'm using two of them right now. This mic goes back there. You're picking up. I'm being picked up through 6 different microphones coming out of the Gear 1 at this moment. We come back here. We have this one here is a Lion. It's been upgraded to the Sierra, and we're hoping to be able to get Pro Tools 10 on there. We got an extra bay to expand in case we need to expand for more interfaces or compressors or anything we need for room for expansion. We have right here with this bay. On top of that, we have a workstation. The workstation is a Yamaha, and that workstation will allow us to burn CDs without having to go underneath to the tower. We have storage on both sides, and here where we keep headphones and things of that nature. We got extra microphones, extra speakers, 300-watt speakers. I got a pair of 300-watt speakers, a couple headphones, just sets of headphones, and any other gear that we would need to store. Up above everything, we keep all the boxes of our gear, just to keep the boxes so that we have the gear and everything. So here we start with, we have the Moto interface, the patch bays, and the 11, which will give us all our sound capabilities for different boxes that we would use, like these boxes. The 11 will take the place of the Black Star, the Vacuum Tube Monster, and the overdrives and the things of that nature, distortion. All of that will be controlled now by the 11. We have a compressor underneath that. The compressor, I believe, has it's a very good compressor. It's a Pro channel. I don't know a whole lot about the compressor other than that it is a good one. I did buy a good one. And we have cinema speakers underneath the monitors that will mix with. The cinema speakers are now working right now through the Windows 8, which we're able to go to Facebook, to go to YouTube, to do anything like that. But eventually the cinema screen and the big screen will work for mixing, and we'll have that connected to the Pro Tools 12, and the computer underneath here, 32 gigabytes, 2 tigs is going to be 2 terabytes is going to be for Pro Tools 12. We have extra monitors out here that we'll be hooking in. So he wants 4 monitors, 2 front and 2 back behind them, in order to mix. We got a camera on our tables over here. Our tables are made of glass. We have one over here that's on a speaker. It's a glass table, and then we have a round table next to it, which is glass, which gives us plenty of room for all the stuff we need to put around the workstation. We have plenty of storage space with the drawers on the work desk. So that's the main control center. We come away from the main control center. This is the mic that I've been using for a live show we've been doing on livemeet.com. We've been doing a radio station of sorts and playing albums. We've been playing sounds of the 70s. We have a printer over here. Underneath that printer is a bass amp. The bass amp is a Roland, and that's our secondary bass amp. Here we have my Fender, which is my #1 guitar. It's got N3 noiseless pickups and S1 switching, 60s reissue body, a 22 fret maple neck, licensed Fender maple neck. Very nice guitar. It's my main guitar. And here I want to put a wall over and a wall in with a pocket door here, with an in and outer window, a plexiglass window, an inner and outer plexiglass window too. I'll be able to see in to the sound booth. We'll use the Apogee one has talkback. We'll be able to talk to the person in the sound booth. It'll all be soundproofed in here. And the bass traps will be put in all the corners. I've hung 2 acoustics in here. We have a guitar for sale. I sell guitars on the side. I have a Fender Stratocaster in there for sale right now. Over here in what will become the sound booth is a pop filter with a condenser mic. The condenser mic is hooked to the PAs in the back at the moment. These can all be switched over to go right into the interface, and we can record directly into the interface, or we can mic the speakers. And there's a number of ways in which to record to get the sound that you're looking for. On the wall, we started hanging the guitars for more room. I got my 4-string bass here, my Fender 4-string bass. Different pictures I hang up to make the place look nice. All around the top, which also breaks up sound, are album covers. So the album covers go all around the top. We have a lighting for to give us the feel and be able to shoot videos in here. The center is a hive that we haven't started running yet. That it has 18 LEDs with 3 lenses and sound effects, and the other 2 are just lights. And we're going to be hooking more lights coming down over the drum set. We have one here and one behind it, 2 different, almost the same but kind of different lights. And we're going to put a hi-hat coming down also over the drum set. I'm going to be looking for beams to hang them. I'm going to be doing that today. I got to drill out to find the beams. Coming back this way, I'll come back around. We got a Raven 100-watt head with built-in sound effects, and we got a Fender 412 speaker cabinet. Really nice setup with the 100-watt head. Gives us a lot of power for playing. I use loopers in the here. I got 1 looper for the drums. I got 1 looper for the bass. I got 1 looper for the electric. And then I have another looper, which is a Digitech. I'm not as fond of the Digitech as I am of the Bosses. I have 2 Boss 3s and a Boss 2. These higher speakers here are set to 1 PA. The lower ones are the ones in use right now that you're hearing me through. And they're coming through the gear 1. I have 6 speakers hooked up, 6 microphones hooked up at the moment. If you're looking in from this direction, this is my kit, and it's a digital kit, and it's hooked into the Marshall over there, and we'll turn it off here. We also have lighting to light for videos. We have a Boss 3 over here. We have a box for our cameras, for a cinema camera. We have a Johnson amp, and the Epiphone amp is an acoustic guitar amp. I got a Lyle that'll play through the acoustic amp. We have all kinds of power breakers and whatnot. On our circuits, we did find a bad ground here. With using the different circuits, we can see that red light is telling us there's a bad ground in this circuit. We're going to have to take that apart and find the bad ground. We come around here and we have our album collection that we used for our broadcasting and our liveme.com. And we have over almost 1,900 followers on liveme.com. And we've only been doing this for a month and a half or so. Along the front rail, we have blank CDs for taping. We have tuners. And tuners, these are the old type tuners. We have gone to Sharks. Most people use Sharks now. We have a one Shark for a regular guitar, another Shark that's good for the bass guitar. And this is a simple, right here is actually a battery operated amplifier for going to the beach with. We have different microphone parts in the black box, and we have different, like the top box here is all my paints. We're doing artwork. I do artwork for the albums I want to produce. We have a sword, which is a 16th century Viking sword I use as a prop. This is the Dragon Den. The Dragon Den is the Dragon Slayer uses a sword to slay the dragons in one of my songs. We also have a 44 prop, Civil War 44 that I use, and one of my songs is 44, Civil Action 44. Here we have a tube amplifier, and this box here is actually a tube amplifier. And then for building guitars, I have all my different parts for building guitars here, and my soldering gun and things of that nature. Max Yasker, picture of Max Yasker's house from Woodstock. And I met Max's son, who lived on the other side of the field, and he had me in his house, and we hung out by Max's house. Different cables. This is an HDMI cable. We got a copy of the album cover that I was working on, and this is a double-sided album cover. But we want to add artwork and whatnot to our album covers. I keep extra strings, things of that nature. This is me on my Tama drums. I used to have Tama drums. I'm considering getting another set of Tama eventually and doing a live room in the garage. Would have to be soundproof, spurs, things of that nature, just odds and ends. Up here are remotes for the camera system, a charger, a battery, box from the battery, and stuff for that, chargeable batteries, and a pencil sharpener, and just things you might need. Always need some masking tape laying around. I use the masking tape for any wires that may be a chip hazard and that are going to be there for a specific reason. This one here carries power over to here, and we use that for power into this area. We have a keyboard down here. Behind the keyboard I have a box with all of my cables for the guitars. We have a Marshall 1x10 cabinet and another limited edition Marshall cabinet. I stagger my cabinets with my amplifiers. We have two electrics for the electrics. We have the Egnator and we have the Vergara. And I have all the connections already ran, and I can switch them out by switching the wires on the back, and the wires are there to switch on the back. Without a problem, I can switch from the Egnator to the Vergara, and they're both tube amps. We have a Fender amp here, which is for the bass. Very nice amp. We got a deal on that. It was an open box. We got a Fender 400 watt head for the bass. We wanted power for the bass, so we got it. We got limited edition coming this direction, and the Marshall coming this direction towards the front. The other two shoot across the room. Same thing that we do with the big amp cabinets that run the Gear 1. One shoots towards the front, and one shoots towards the side. I think I got a bad connection in that one. I'm not hearing it. I got to rerun a new cable and check the cable on the on that particular amplifier cabinet. On that cabinet, the cabinet is not giving me sound. I believe it's in the connection of the cable. I probably got a bad cable. To run our show, we have different microphones. This is a ribbon microphone with a pop filter. Ribbon microphones would use a pop filter. Condenser mics would use a pop filter. We got another microphone hung by the Yamaha stacks. The Yamaha stacks are used through the JVC turntable. And we also got a Kenwood receiver. And the Kenwood receiver and the JVC and the Yamaha stacks. We have two of them. Or what we use, run our record player through. We have, and then on top of that, we have a 2,000 watt music preamp, which runs the control panel for our mic that we use to commissary with. I got it louder than the rest of the mics that pick up what you're hearing now, so that I can commentate over the sound of the album playing. We have another head there. There's a PA, which we can use, and another PA here that we can use. This PA is hooked to the top speakers, and the PA there by the flashlight is hooked up to the speakers below this PA and below the gear one. We have another tuner in the back, an Onkyo, which has other speakers for the Onkyo, for the radio, if we wanted to use radio. We have 1,000 watt speakers that I installed in those cabinets to accommodate the 2,000 watt head. Over here we have an M5 stomp box, a Black Star, another looper, and an octave device which changes the octaves when you're playing. I have a preamp for the record player, and I ground to the preamp. We have a reel-to-reel in the back for we started out doing a taping on a reel-to-reel. I'm able to keep my music and my notes on the thing that holds the notes right there. You can see the notes in front of us. I have different lighting. I've gone to ones that aren't hot. The screen one runs hot. We're going to turn that off. The yellow one runs cold. This blue one runs hot. We're going to change them out. The light bulbs over here where I sit are all fluorescent. They run cold. The blue, the green, the red, and the yellow, and they all run cold. We want to install these other lights, take them out, and install cold running lights, because the heat is our enemy in the studio. Behind my kit while I'm playing, I have a ribbon mic, and that ribbon mic can pick me up when I sing a song on a drum set, and then of course we can use, this is a dynamic mic. I don't have a pop filter here. The pop filter should come from here to there. We don't need a pop filter for the dynamic mic, but I just put it there because that's where our main condenser mic will go, and our condenser mic is put away in a box for our vocals that we'll be using for our main vocals, and our other condenser mic over there. I got plastic over all the mics in order to keep them clean and free of any dust or debris. Coming around over here, we got our Egnator, we got our Bagheera, we got our Fender. These are the 3 main amps besides the Roland. The Fender is our main bass amp. We got the Fender over there, the 412s, and the cabinets, the 1x10 cabinets. I would like to get a couple more cabinets and maybe another small amp, 20 watt or something like a Black Star that goes from 1 to 15. This is a 15 watt amp that I'm playing the drum set with. So this is a pretty good look at the studio and different computers and the way we set up the control panel. Made mix for Roomba, hanging guitars, coming around. We have a fan in the room. When you have the fan on, it does pick up any noise to the speakers, and it will pick up the sound of the fan, and you'll hear that in anything you record. So we can't record with the fan on. This is another Yamaha amp I haven't touched on. This is a Yamaha amp. I'm able to jack other speakers into this because I modified the back of it, and I'm able to jack other speakers. Here we have 45s. We have some rare ones. We have Michael Jackson, Motown, You Can Cry on My Shoulder, Michael Jackson, and Ben. And I haven't gone through all these 45s, but I did notice we had Michael Jackson in a 45, which is pretty incredible. These came from the attic of the trading post on the North Carolina border. Pretty much that's it for the studio. A foot pedal for the Bagheera. This here is a Japanese lawsuit, and it's got 57 Gibson pickups in it. It sounds amazing. It's a semi-hollow body. This is a 6-string Squire, but it is built really, really well. The neck on it is amazing. It has a hand-wound center pickup, which is opposite polarity, an opposite wound than the other two. And it's got a tremolo bar. It's a 6-string bass. They're made between 61 and 75. It's a reissue, and the neck was modified a little bit from the original to make it easier and better playing. It is an amazing bass. I really love this bass, but there are times when you still do need the 4-string, so we keep the Fender 4-string, and we have a variety of guitars. We got the Colby. I like to soup up a bit, and the Gibson, the old Fender that I'm working on. We have the ZG with this fire maple, and that particular guitar is a mahogany. It's a heavier guitar. That's push-pull, push-ups, and it's more like a Gibson. And if it were a Gibson, it'd be worth about $3,500, but it's about an $800 guitar as it sits. With the case, it's a 2015. And that's about it for the studio. We have our different boxes. We take a look around. Everything's set up in such an order that we know where everything is. We can get to it. We're not quite done with the studio. We still want to build the sound booth. We still want to, we got to get our Pro Tools 12 installed. We had to scrap Pro Tools 10, but we will be able to install Pro Tools 10 on hopefully this Lion. It's a mountain lion that's been upgraded to Sierra. I hope we can install Pro Tools 10 on this, but if not, we know that what we bought is accepted by for Pro Tools 12 to be downloaded by it begins with A, Apogee or something. It's the name of the company that makes Pro Tools 12, and I may be a little off on that. We keep different cables where we need them. We only plug in what we need and unplug when we're done. I found that the best way to do things, rather than to keep chains built, and you never know when you want to change something out. It's best to set up what you want when you need it. We have smaller booms for miking the cabinets so that I can record through a mic cabinet. My engineer says it's best to record straight through to the interface, but I've also seen it done where they record by miking the cabinets, and so I'm compared to do any type of recording that can be done. Over there under the shell, I keep my work and my artwork and songs that I wrote, and that's about it for this studio. I'm Paulie B. I'm the owner of the Dragon Den. It's a very nice studio. It's a professional home studio, and we have and will be bringing clients in to record. We have enough room in here to perform and record. We could also do video, podcast, loop our radio station that we're doing on broadcasting on Live Main. So we have a lot of capabilities. My throat's a little bit shot. I want to get something over the curtains or some type of something solid to block the sound. We have a roll of black cloth behind that. We'll be making the clouds. I'm putting the clouds on the ceiling. We'll be putting bass traps in the corners. A lot of this will be handiwork, and I'll be doing it by hand, building them myself, and that'll be fun. And once it all comes together, it's going to be a real piece of work. And this is the main control center again. And as we say goodbye to you now, this is Paulie B. This has been a Dragon Den production. This is Dragon Den Studios. And I hope you enjoyed this portion or this segment of Pro Home Recording Studios. And this is the Dragon Den. You all have a great day, and you take care now.